producer price of cocoa has been increased by 62.74% effective Friday, October 3rd. A 64 kg bag of cocoa will now sell at 345 Ghana cedis, and an additional 5 Ghana cedis will also be paid on top as bonus. Now, already there are lingering questions of where the money will come from to fund this rise. However, the minority in parliament says cocoa farmers deserve a lot more, up to about 120%. Is the announcement a quick reaction to address the challenge of cocoa smuggling to neighboring Côte d'Ivoire? And what do cocoa farmers themselves have to say? My name is Stephen Enti here in Accra, and this is today's big story. Well, before we go, news just coming in suggests that Alban Bagbin, the majority leader in Parliament, has collapsed in Parliament and was rushed to the 37 military hospital for medical treatment. We're trying to get onto the telephone lines to speak to our reporter, Elton John Brobe, who will be joining us very soon for an update on the situation of Majority Leader Alban Bagbin. So news just coming in is that Alban Bagbin, who is the Majority Leader in Parliament, collapsed a while ago on the floor of Parliament and has been rushed to 37 military hospital for medical attention. We are working the telephone lines to bring you our parliamentary correspondent Elton John Brobe to give us an update of that situation. Now, the decision to increase the producer price by 62.674% Thursday, October 2004, followed a meeting with the Producer Price Review Committee on Cocoa, chaired by Minister Seth Terkper. Government has announced the increment of the producer price from 3,392 per ton to 5,520 per ton for the 2014-2015 cocoa season. This amount represents an increase in price of 62.74% compared to the previous season. But not everyone is happy with this. Ranking member of the Food and Agric Subcommittee of Parliament, Dr. Osei Asare, will be is joining us now for a discussion on this. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, I recall that the minority held a press conference demanding that government increases the producer price of cocoa. You should be happy that government listened to you and gave 62.74%.
Happy. I mean, I hope you listened to our press conference in which we did some calculations. In those calculations, we estimated that given the exchange rate, current exchange rate and prevailing prices on the world market, the farmers should be getting 479 Ghana cedis per bag of 64 kilograms.
Right.
What do we get today? 345.
Plus,
so that's
five cedis bonus, so that works up to like 350.
Well, if you wish, 350, yes. I mean, if you wish. But that is nowhere near the 479 that we recommended to the government in our press conference in Seshiri or so in the Western region last week.
Now, quickly help us recap the calculations you made. Government arrived at 62.74%. I don't know what went into consideration for that. We'll be getting onto the telephone lines to get that. But what would you have government done different?
Well, that is precisely what we are talking figures here. Everybody knows what the world price, market price is, okay?
Yeah.
And we know what the exchange rate is between the dollar and the CDA, even if you use the central bank's own fixed rate of 3.15, okay? And we also know that this crop has been sold forward. A crop that we are about to enter the season for is already sold forward, and is on the basis of the agreements of the sales that have served as collateral for Ghana to raise the $1.7 billion to come and buy the crop. So there's no secret about that. So we are asking the government if they are claiming that the 345 Ghana cedis per bag is equivalent to 75% of the FOB price, we are challenging the government to come out and tell us what the FOB price is, because they know it, so that we can calculate for ourselves based on the 345 what that represents in terms of percentage. This is very simple arithmetic.
But in the statement that Setekpe released today, it spoke about the fact that the last 2 seasons saw the average FOB prices of cocoa used for the review declining. So, I mean, I can't really understand if you're asking this increment against the fact that the FOB, from what they're telling us, has been declining for the last 2 seasons.
I don't know where they are getting their figures from, but I'm saying that in the name of transparency, they should publish those figures. They shouldn't keep those figures to their bosom and then announce what they are giving the farmers. In any case, for the last 2 years, the farmers have suffered a constant increase. There hasn't been any increase in producer price. The 212 has pertained for 24 months. And the year before, there was only a nominal increase of 5%. So in the last 3 years, the farmers have really suffered real collapse in the prices that is paid to them. So if you want to adjust and make an adjustment in their price, this is the time to do it. And the time to do it takes account of the current rate of exchange between the dollar and the cedi, and what pertains on the world market, the prices. And the prices on the world market is no secret. I mean, there are no secrets. You can get onto the internet anytime now from your telephone and work out what the closing price in London is today. Now the relevant prices will be, of course, Ghana has a premium of 15 to 20% on our cocoa because of the high quality of our cocoa. So all those factors play into the price that is negotiated between the Ghana Cocoa Marketing Board and our foreign buyer. So they should come out and say how much is it that they sold, the price that they obtained for our cocoa, and then we can compare it with what they have given to the farmer today and see whether their manifesto promise of 2008 and 2012 of giving the farmer 70% of the price has been realized or not.
But are you not worried that such quantum rises, maybe arbitrary rises of the type you're asking for, could perhaps jeopardize the economy as the economy begins to show recovery?
What they are doing now is jeopardizing the economy, because the fall in the export earnings from cocoa of nearly 600, I estimate nearly around $600 million is part of the reason for the crisis we have in our foreign exchange markets now. So if there's any jeopardy, it is the current price policies pursued by this government for the last 3 or 4 years.
Right, Dr. Owusu Afriakoto, we're trying to work onto the telephone lines to get Noah Amenya, who is the public relations officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, to join us on telephone. I'm told that he joins us now. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Right, we're not getting Noah Amenya. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. And like I told you, news coming in is that Alban Bagbing, majority leader in Parliament, collapsed earlier today on the floor of Parliament and has been rushed to the 37 military hospital for medical attention. We're working the telephone lines to get Elton John Brobe to give us updates on that. We'll be right back. Now, Noah Amenya, Public Relations Officer of Cocoa Board, is joining us now on telephone. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm told that you are in a bit of a hurry to leave, so I won't hold you too long. Now, Cocoa Board recently secured a syndicated loan of $1.7 billion. So, are you using some of that to fund the 62.7% increment in producer price? Is that how it works?
In fact, the whole amount is intended to enable us to purchase the 2014-15 crop.
I see. Right. So obviously, there's no question about that.
No.
Now, the minority in parliament is of the view that farmers deserve a lot more, up to about 120%. How do you react to that?
What is the basis? I can only comment if I know the basis for that percentage increase.
Well, I mean, the basis is that, I mean, farmers deserve more. Is it not an enough basis to say farmers deserve more than what they got? I mean, they were saying that farmers could have gotten as much as 420 per 64 kg bag.
I think that just putting it that farmers deserve more, yes, it's acceptable that every worker deserves more, but is that what, can we pay more than this? Because I think this translates into the farmer getting 76% of FOB. When the government policy is to pay the farmer 70% at least. So 76, looking at the whole industry, and apart from that, they are going to get fertilizer, they are going to get mass spraying free of charge, they are getting seedlings free of charge, they are getting extension services, they are getting cocoa roads. All the interventions are still going to be taken care of. The farmer is well catered for.
But these interventions you spoke about, the setup of the stabilization fund is one of the things that existed in the 2008-2009 season. Now, the cocoa spraying, the fertilizer, and the other interventions existed before, then they were scrapped. I mean, what changed?
It was not scrapped. You know, the world market price of cocoa fell. It came down so much that it was very important for the stabilization fund that has been accrued to use to cushion the system so the farmer can still be taken care of. Else, we would have to reduce the farmer's producer price. So that is why it has been reintroduced so that in future, if something like that should happen, we will be able to take care of it.
Now, one of the key considerations that when the minority held a press conference demanding a rise in the producer price, which you have granted partly, was the issue of smuggling of Ghana's cocoa across the border to a country like Ivory Coast. Now, was that a part of the consideration when you decided to increase or review upwards the producer price?
Yes, I think no one in the industry was happy about the fact that cocoa was being smuggled out of Ghana. Looking at all the efforts that is put in place to arrive at the cocoa bean. So that was factored, and now the producer price that has been announced for the farmers is above what Cote d'Ivoire also announced yesterday. And so we expect that smuggling will cease, and we'll get all the cocoa that has been produced in Ghana.
So this is supposed to start effective Friday, tomorrow, correct?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Now, what mechanisms have been put in place to make sure that the farmers themselves are aware of the situation and are going to start taking advantage of it? Because I saw from the press statement of the Minister of Finance that they're supposed to be paid instantly for their sale.
Yes. So that is why the $1.7 billion had been taken during the syndication, and that money would be made available to pay for all the cocoa that will be sent to the buying center. We also, through your medium, for instance, are making every farmer aware. Anyone who listens to your news will become aware that cocoa prices have been increased, and this is the amount. So we expect that they would ask nothing less than what has been agreed on. We also would do spot checks to see what is happening, and we'll be targeting any LBC that attempts to cheat farmers. We hope that with this mechanism, the farmers will get their due.
Now, the interventions of fertilizer applications and mass spraying, etc., had several problems. I mean, there were claims among some farmer groups that there were discrimination and some people didn't receive their allotments and allocations on time due to some mechanisms that eliminated some people. I mean, have you put in place sufficient mechanisms or systems to ensure that what went wrong won't repeat themselves again?
Yes, we didn't want anything to go wrong. This is the first year that we have brought in this intervention. We expect that as a human endeavor, we would have some challenges. And so these challenges will be looked at, and the various loopholes that this will be plugged. We expect that going forward, the system will work close to perfection so that we'll be able to achieve why we introduced this free fertilizer intervention.
Right, thank you very much, Noah. I mean, unfortunately, we were not able to pair you with Dr. Owusu Free Ekoto who raised, but we're grateful anyway. My name is Stephen Antia. We're still working the telephone lines to get Elton John Brobe, we're told, is on the line now to give us an update of what happened exactly in Parliament. So, Elton, good evening.
Good evening, Stephen.
Now, quickly, can you give us an update of what exactly happened in Parliament today in relation to Alban Bagbin?
Well, I have not come across him the whole of today in Parliament. Today, what I'm told is that in the morning, at one of their committee meetings, they had a closed-door meeting till 1 p.m. Before normal parliamentary business started.
Okay.
So it was at that particular closed-door meeting where they were discussing welfare issues that it started showing signs of dizziness. So some of the members present had to take him to the hospital where he was admitted. I don't know whether he's been discharged from the hospital, but according to the majority chief whip who confirmed this to me, he was among some members of parliament who took him to the hospital together with Mr. Abambaben's personal driver. And when they got there, he was admitted. He was looked after by a doctor, and then after the doctor advised him to stay for a while, I asked him whether he's still on admission. He told me about an hour ago that he cannot tell, but what he can tell me is that he will be discharged to go home to take further rest. So he also tells me that he is not in any danger, and he assigned the show of dizziness by Mr. Amambaben on the fact that he had not eaten the whole of the day. So that may have resulted in his temporal loss of consciousness. But he tells me that he is doing well. He's been advised by the doctor to take a rest. The House is still in sitting. We don't know whether sitting will end today or tomorrow. But whatever happens, he will get word as to his true state of health in the next few hours to come.
Right, thank you very much. Elton John Brobe is a parliamentary correspondent for Joy FM, and he brought us up to date with the situation in Parliament, where we had reports that Majority Leader Alban Bagbin fell ill and was rushed to hospital with what he describes as symptoms of dizziness, and he's recovering to medical treatment. Let's now hear from former Health Minister Kweku Efriye, who is a cocoa farmer himself, to get a fair understanding of what farmers themselves have to say about this announcement from government that the producer price has been increased by 62.74%. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Now, this must come to you as good news, isn't it?
Not really.
Not really? Why?
Yeah. Because government is starting from a very low base. You see, this price increment, like as of last year or so, we should be doing around 300 Ghana cedis per bag, 64 kilogram weight. So it's like they are making up. And I don't know what informed them for the price increment, because just as a counterpoint, only a couple of weeks ago, I was in one of my farms, just across the Tano River, a place called Kodjo and Limanko. People from that area, they come to purchase the cocoa at 350 Ghana cedis. And of course, that is what we call the bush weight. When they send it to across the border to La Côte d'Ivoire, they could be selling anywhere between 450, 480 Ghana cedis. So I do not know if it's a counterpoint to stop smuggling. Fine, that's fair. But it's not fair to we Ghanaians, because as far as we are concerned, we produce the best for a style variety in the world. And Ghana is a benchmark, and we should be a lot better than La Côte d'Ivoire. And they are doing a lot better for their families. Incidentally, starting from the later Dubois through Kufuor through to this regime, governments, parties have benchmark cocoa at 70% FOB price. Don't please pay attention to what they are saying. We can go into the details later. I've calculated the FOB price, and it's around 61-62% of the FOB price. And I'm not talking about spot prices, because two elements. They said that they are pegging the CD to the dollar ratio at 3 cedis 20 pesos. And if I heard them right, the cocoa price per ton, they are pegging it at $2,760. I've done the arithmetic for you. It comes out to be about 62% of the FOP price. So we are not happy. And so people, and for that matter, people, those of us in the Western region, I'm not having any sense of euphoria. I just came from my farm, and I heard the announcement on the on one of the radio stations. It's not like everybody's up in the air jubilating at all.
So what do you want? What exactly do you want?
What we want, yes, I was here, I will not hide it. When the minority caucus came here to do, they even consulted me. We did a calculation. It's like, if we want to have a first month for the cocoa farmers, government should be doing something in the region of 479 or 480 Ghana cedis. Period. Minimum, like we Ghanaians say, quarter. Very realistic. It should be around 450 Ghana cedis. If I were to bargain with government, if I were
So, I mean, in the meantime, what are you going to do? You're still going to take this anyway because you don't have a choice.
That's why some of us
Right.
Somebody.
Mr. Freer, your line is a bit bad. I am not sure where you're standing, but if you could move towards an open area, we could hear your final words.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you faintly, but you were making you were making your final submissions. Yes.
Yes, I'm saying that the final submission is like government should have been fair and given $450. So I'm taking all factors into account. I'm aware that features and what not. If you make projects and all those things, cocoa prices for the next so many because of the China